Hello, if you're looking at these two handsome faces, that means that you're tuned into The Real Deal on UWW-TV, a television program put together by Wisconsin Whitewater students for Wisconsin Whitewater students. The show is all about capturing the real reactions of people who are placed into outrageous situations or asked hilarious questions.
If you're tired of fake news or the political hoopla that has taken over social media and other big news stations, don't go anywhere. Stay right where you are.
With hilarious unscripted footage, beautifully handcrafted video packages, and raw interviews with students and faculty on campus, there's no reason for you to watch any other show anyways. So what do you say we get the ball rolling, Colin?
I say we roll the heck out of this ball, Cameron.
Let's do it.
We've got a great show planned for you today. We are going to be starting with my favorite segment of the show called Can You Say That Again? This is where we ask people to say outrageous words or names found in and around the lovely state of Wisconsin. You will see why it is my favorite segment in just a minute. Then we will keep rolling with our Wrong or Real segment designed to stump our fellow Warhawks by asking them about the university's history and other facts surrounding Whitewater. We will finish up with a more informational segment of the show called Real and Solutions.
This segment is meant to talk about and ask real questions about life on campus and how we can make it a better living and learning environment for everyone. But first, we want to give you a preview of our not so wonderful Wisconsin weather for the week, followed by a quick commercial break. And when we come back, can you say that again?
What does it mean to be a Warhawk?
It means allowing myself to dream big and think outside the box.
Pushing the limits of what I think is possible.
Seeing ideas through from start to finish.
Collaborating with professors and peers.
And seizing opportunities in the community to put my knowledge to use.
I'm studying abroad,
learning another language,
and listening to the stories of others.
I'm making lifelong friends and fearlessly sharing my gifts with the world.
As a Warhawk, I stay balanced,
take great care of myself,
and get out of my comfort zone.
I refuse to let the past determine my future.
And I'm taking confident steps in the direction of my dreams.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense.
And other times it couldn't be more exciting.
But I will keep my goals in mind
and never quit.
Because
that's the Warhawk way.
Tech Crew is a position at the University Center that we have that employs students as workers to provide AV support for various events. Conferences, camps, orientations, entertainment events such as magicians, comedians, bands, and a wide variety of various things that the University Center hosts.
Tech Crew is a great place for people who are interested in lighting and sound to really get hands-on experience and to learn and to grow, and just to be surrounded by great people who also want to learn.
It is that atmosphere. It's fun, it's entertaining, you learn a lot. I've been here for a long time and I've learned a lot about various different types of people, different types of events. I've met a lot of connections that will help me later in life, and it's just fun to be around and do what you like to do in a setting where you can learn too.
Sign up for Tech Crew today.
UW-Whitewater Weatherhawks is a student-ran organization which promotes learning about weather and climate. If you love to watch storms and want to learn more about them, this is the club for you. Also build friendships by getting hands-on experience. Provide weather-related information to media outlets and promote activities throughout the Whitewater community. So join Weatherhawks today.
Anytime you force someone to really think about something they don't normally think about, you're going to capture some pretty hilarious responses and questions, like saying and spelling out names and cities and towns in Wisconsin.
Winnebago, Sheboygan, Michigan, Isonia, McEwen, Waupun, Weyawega, Kaukauna, Winnebago, Michigan, Weyawega, Ixonia, McEwen, Muskego,
Mike Mustakas, Ulis Chachin, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Candy delivery offset. Thank you, Cameron.
I'm going to say Eric Ogunbawe. It's Bob Euchre. Can't get that one wrong.
Winnebago, Wisconsin, Michigan, Tayshita, Hardyville, Ashwaubenon,
Kakwana? What? Weyawega, McEwen.
This is the real deal, so I think getting real reactions from students is, I think that makes the best content, and especially with having the candy and having, such a wide variety of people coming from different cities around Wisconsin and across multiple states in the United States. It's funny to see people who aren't from Wisconsin try to pronounce, cities in Wisconsin.
Oconomowoc.
Ashwaubenon. There is not a lot of cities that are easy in Wisconsin, and I know most of them. There are a couple of them I looked and I was like, I've never even heard of that city before.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I never heard of it. Maybe I haven't gone enough north or south, but yeah, there were a couple that I didn't know. But obviously, for the sake of the show, we had to learn them before we go out there and have other people try it out too.
So I think having the girl with all her friends there, and there's basically a big group of people that came, and there was like 5 or 6 people that were all together, and I think having your friends near you, that kind of gave them the motivation to actually want to get interviewed on the show. And
more laid back too. Like we were saying, it's kind of weird when or at least I can imagine that it would be a random person walks up to you, hey, how are you? I'm Cameron. Can I get an interview? And they're, kind of like, for what?
Right.
But then we told them a little bit about our show. We're like, well, you guys are going to have fun with it. Take turns. And then more people were willing, and then people just kept coming, so that was cool. And they even fed off of each other's answers in comedy. So I thought that was awesome.
I mean, it is a very low-stress show, and I think when you explain to students and when you explain to, faculty, whoever you interview, that you can cut out stuff. You don't have to keep everything in that you interview. I think they're definitely more open to get interviewed, because now, not everyone understands editing or how it works, so they don't know you can cut out certain stuff if they really don't want it in there. This should be a pretty straightforward segment for those of you watching at home. Wrong or real, or as most of you like to call it, the best form of test taking, true or false. Basically, Wrong or Real is a segment where we go around testing other UWW students and faculty members on their campus history and other fun facts. It is safe to say that I am one of those people who didn't know much about the campus or the town of Whitewater at all.
Yeah, we definitely learned a little bit more than I thought we were going to. So we're going to have our wonderful director, Charita, roll the clip for us. Enjoy.
The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater was founded in 1868. Yes.
There were more women enrolled at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater than men in the fall of 2015. Wrong or real?
I believe it.
It's a tough one. It literally is 50-50.
I feel like that's true.
I'm gonna go with real.
Okay.
Our very own Jake Kumaro was signed to the Minnesota Vikings back in 2017.
The total population in the town of Whitewater is over 20,000.
I think that's wrong.
The university newspaper is called the Royal Warhawk.
Royal Purple.
Spring commencement is scheduled for January 18th. Wrong or real?
I'll say wrong.
you are currently on the show, The Real Deal.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. It's real.
Real.
There it is. There it is. All right, man. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. Next episode, we're going to make those questions a little harder for you guys.
Yeah, and I think having all of these organizations on campus, because like we mentioned, we have over 175, and I think
that's a lot.
Having all these organizations and having all these good sports really makes our campus really diverse. So there's, you know, a little something for everybody. You know what I mean?
That was kind of like, we came to that realization too when we were filming. We were like, wow, you know, this is a pretty big campus actually, and there are a lot of people on campus, so that was cool. And everybody was a good sport, you know. We were really hoping that we weren't going to hurt any feelings or make anybody uncomfortable, and I think we did a pretty darn good job of that too.
You know, I think the next episode of Wrong or Real, I definitely think we have to up the ante and kind of make the questions a little bit harder, because people definitely knew the right answers.
They did. Even about Higher Hall, the old main building. That was one thing though that I think everybody learned, like when they first came to campus, was, oh, just so you know, this building burned down a long time ago, and now all that's left is Higher Hall. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Our next segment is supposed to shed some light on life on campus as a Warhawk. We learned a lot by just going around campus and asking people, speaking with other students who go through the same thing as us, waking up early, trying to get to class on time, eating a balanced breakfast, studying for exams, trying to get enough sleep, in order just to get up and do the same things the very next day.
You know, I think this segment is super important to us at The Real Deal, and I think this is why we decided to produce our show the way we do. We hope you like it. Roll the clip.
Yeah, I would have to say parking was probably the biggest challenge with being a student here. With it becoming more limited as the years go by, it's just been really frustrating.
Parking around campus kind of sucks because, you know, you have all these cars, you have a lot of commuters and stuff like that. You know, people on campus are parking here as well. You know, it kind of sucks that when you get here at like 9 o'clock, all the parking is like filled up and stuff like that. You can't find a parking spot. So
I've heard nightmares of people like saying they've got a permit in a certain lot, but it's been oversold, so they can't actually get a spot. So I think they really need to monitor how much they sell, just to prevent that further issue of overselling a parking space.
Should tear down the new dorm building that they're building, but you know they're not going to do that. But so I would say, you know, try to expand at least a little more parking inside where, you know, the dorm is being built, and outside of it and the vicinity of that place as well. So
I know they have bus services for people coming home from the bar, so why not do it during the school week? They're missing out.
Thanks for talking with us. Cool. Be easy, man.
Brandon, thank you so much for your time.
Obviously, we talked to a lot of people in this Real and In Solutions segment, and most of them brought up parking like right away.
And I myself, I came here to edit something about a month or two ago, and most of the times the parking is free from Thursday night all the way to Sunday night, and it ended up being Friday afternoon all the way to Sunday night, and I ended up coming out at like 2 p.m. and I had a ticket on my car slapped on my windshield.
There you go, buddy, $100.
For $100, yeah. And you know, they used to be only $25, or $15. So that's not a lot of money to pay, you know.
No.
Like, so if you are gonna park in a parking lot without a permit, you're like, oh, $25, all right, that's, you know, that's a couple hours of work, and that's good.
Yeah, it's an adult dollar, right? You just give it to them. Here you go, just take it. That's fine.
But having the tickets being raised so much, I think that's going to definitely discourage students from parking in spots that, you know, they don't have the right to. Because if you have a permit, you know, you want to make sure you have a spot. You want to make sure that if you're paying, you know, $200 a semester or a year, you're going to want to have a spot. And if someone who doesn't have a permit, and if they get to park in your spot and not have any consequences, you're like, well, why do I buy a parking spot?
What's the point? I pay all this money in tuition and for, you know, my classes, my books, all that stuff, and I can't even get my own parking spot. And you can understand why they're a little upset.
I know you were talking about yesterday how you park in your friend's parking lot. You don't even own a parking permit. So I was just saying. So
I beat the system.
Right. So with that being said, I think we're going to go to a commercial break right now, and we'll be back with another story in the UC.
The Department of Communication offers students the opportunity to explore the world through the faculty-led travel study program. The course consists of both in-class lecture and a 3-week travel component at the end of the semester.
You have a life that is insanely busy. You don't have to give up so much time to do a 3-week travel study. and you can compact a lot in 3 weeks.
The course is worth 3 credits and is open to all majors. The program features group travel with peers and faculty.
I think the benefit of traveling in a group like the travel study is there's always somebody there to experience new things with you, and you always have new friends to gain.
Travel Study offers a variety of travel destinations, including a trip to Ireland every other year. Develop new relationships, participate in enriching cultures, and experience personal growth while abroad.
With the travel study, it was so great being able to go to places and really experience the value that they can give to our own culture and just to me as a person.
For more information, please visit
The UC can get you connected to all your basic needs. Grab a coffee and a meal. Study by the fireplace. Bowl, play, and relax when you want a break from homework. The UC has much more to offer to Whitewater students. Go to the UC's website to see what's going on this week.
As an Army ROTC cadet at Whitewater, you have the opportunity to develop into a great leader while learning and applying the Army values to your everyday life. Within ROTC, you have the chance to travel overseas in the CULP program to train with other militaries, attend many elite Army schools such as Airborne and Combat Diver, and you have the opportunity to attend conferences and guest lectures by some of the Army's top-ranking officers. Our Warhawk cadets participate in many extracurricular activities, Division III sports, Greek life, intramural sports, among many other team building and community service events. Being a cadet at Whitewater is more than just being part of the Army. It's also about being active members in our community and coming together to form a family atmosphere. Anyone who wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves while developing themselves professionally should consider UW-Whitewater ROTC. To sign up for UW-Whitewater ROTC, go to the 4th floor of McCutcheon Hall to room 47.
The mission of the food pantry is to lower our food insecurity on campus, and we realized that a campus food pantry was extremely necessary, so that's why we got it started as soon as possible. Mostly we're looking for toiletries because we get a lot of food from our food provider, like shampoo, soap, toilet paper.
Food Pantry is located in Whitehall and is open from 2 to 5 Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Donation boxes are located in the UC, or you can go online and donate on the UWW Foundations page. For more information, go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/UWW Campus Food Pantry.
Well, Cameron, I think it's time to do a change of pace here. In this episode's second half of The Real Deal, we're going to be doing a little of what's going on campus, and I remember walking around the Roberta's Art Gallery in the UC, and I saw some really interesting work. Luckily, I got to meet the artist and was able to find out some interesting stuff. Let's watch.
Today I'm here at the UC at the Roberta Fiscum Avon Art Gallery to talk to some students, faculty, and the artist herself to get some more insight on her artwork.
She received a diagnosis that she was going to lose her sight. When she figured out that wasn't actually going to happen, you can kind of see the themes of sight through these, and a lot of bright, vibrant colors kind of adds to, it's just all about vision and perception, really.
Jean Panga's theme of seeing, understanding, and interpreting the world through digital photogenic collages and paintings captured many interests. We asked the student if she could see what the artist was trying to convey.
Especially with the cat at the door and the cat seeing different things every time, and based on what was outside the door, the cat was perceived as different emotions.
Jean knew she wanted to be an artist at the age of 4. She took 8 years of Waukesha County Technical College's digital photography courses. She also went to art school at UW-Milwaukee. Her inspiration for art comes from all around her.
Each one of the images is a different expression of the things I've thought about when I see things around me or read things in the news or the paper or see on television.
Her next showcase will be held at the Red Line Gallery at Milwaukee with the Wisconsin Visual Artists Group. She'll be back in Roberta's Gallery in May with the Pastel Artists Group. My name is Colin DeMay, reporting here from the Roberta Avon Fiscum Art Gallery, signing off for UWW-TV.
So yeah, the opening day of the art gallery with this artist's work was the only day she was actually there.
Oh, really?
I thought that was really cool to be able to, talk to the artists and some of the students and other faculty. And actually, there was like quite a few community members there as well to talk to the artist. And I think when you go to a gallery like this and you have all this, these really abstract pieces of work, it's really nice to have the artist there because she can kind of explain, why she did it that way. Because you can look at something abstract and I can look at it completely different than you look at it.
Right.
And
I think that's the best part of art is that based on who's watching it or based on who did the artwork, the perception of it changes, or the idea or the feelings that you get when you're looking at it changes. And I think that's the best part.
And one of the faculty members at the Roberta's Art Gallery actually was telling us that the artist almost lost her sight.
Wow.
So the title of the gallery is Vision and Perception, which is ironic in a way. And
punny.
It's also ironic that she's an artist, and artists need their eyes to see. So I think with all the eyes being shown, and with all the student was telling us how the cat that she saw in the 3 different paintings were, they look different. And I think having the artist almost lose her sight, it's definitely a little scary, I guess. But
and that probably changed her perception of art, maybe, or her style. Because that's a big part of, even not just for artwork. You need your eyes to get around and to see things, colors, images, shapes, stuff like that. So I think for her, that was a big moment for her, and she took it positively, and it seems like she's doing really well. I read up on her just a little bit, and you mentioned that she's an abstract artist. Was there a piece in there that you liked the most, or was it overall just a really cool exhibit?
There was this piece she was talking about when she traveled to the Grand Canyon, and it was basically the park that they went to was like an Indian burial ground, and she had the same picture of a man kind of laying down, looked like he was dead, and she had that on multiple paintings, and there was also a little picture of a little kid on a trike. And at first I was really confused on what that meant by that, and when she was explaining it in the interview, she said that it's because we kind of treat it like it's our playground. We just kind of walk over it, and I thought that was a really powerful thing to say. I was like, wow, I didn't even think about it like that. And that figure across, multiple of the paintings that she showed us had to do with, the shootings that we have going around in the world today, and it was surrounded by a big pool of red. So I was just, there was some positive stuff there was some medium stuff there, and there was some really kind of dark stuff there. But I think that's what art's all about. So
did she do so she did an open mic kind of thing, or an interview before and after, or how did that?
No, we just went up to her when we got there, and we asked her if she wanted to interview, and she said she was more than happy to. So.
Oh, okay. Well, be sure to check out the art gallery whenever you get a chance, and show some support for local artists. Well, I got a package to show too. Just the other day, I got to experience my first ever drag show here on campus. And man, I gotta tell you, it was really fun. For most college students, the weekend is a time to let loose. Usually, the get-togethers with friends take place off campus. But the UW-Whitewater Impact Organization had plans to change things up. At the end of this past month, the Hamilton Room in the University Center was home to the Impact Organization's 10th annual drag show. Drag shows feature performers singing or lip-syncing to songs while performing a pre-planned routine or dance. These performers usually create unique and colorful costumes and makeup to go along with their elaborate routines. There was one drag queen in particular who couldn't wait to express her love for drag and how great it feels to compete with friends who share the same dream.
I started in 2007, and I always knew I wanted to be a drag queen. Like, way before I did drag, I was like, I'm gonna be a drag queen and my name gonna be Tempest. So here I am.
Tickets for the event were $10 each, and anyone with a valid driver's license or hot card ID was able to attend. About halfway through the event, I had a pretty good idea of how the Impact Organization planned and executed their 10th annual drag show, but I still had a few more questions.
I was a general member of Impact, which is our LGBT and ally student organization here, and the person who was doing the drag show before me kind of was stepping down. Kyle and I decided that we both love drag, and I just kind of fell into it.
After a night of lights, laughter, and entertainment, it's no wonder this year's show exceeded all expectations. With UWW-TV from the UC, I'm Cameron Slate. It was a doozy. It was definitely a little over 3 hours. When I talked to Kyle, he didn't think that it was going to last that long. But there's a lot that went into this. There's a lot of makeup. There's a lot of costumes, lighting. They had to set up the catwalk. You know, and there were other people like myself that were filming, taking pictures and stuff like that too. So it was a pretty big event. The UWW Impact Group did a great job putting together the event, first of all. The lights were great. There were no problems with seating. They had a table too, where two people were exchanging money for singles, so you can give the talent singles as they go around. And
really?
yeah, because they would interact with the crowd, which was pretty cool. The talent the drag queens would come in between the rows and, you know, dance with people and kind of make people laugh. So it was definitely, the energy was amazing. It was through the roof.
Sounded like a very successful event. So what was your favorite part of the show?
My favorite part of this week's show was definitely just going around talking to people. It sounds super cheesy, but I mean, we made a lot of people laugh.
Yeah.
We made a lot of people laugh, and I was laughing myself.
Yeah.
Some of the answers that we were getting, some of the real reactions that we were getting from people was cool.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of editing that needs to take place in the next couple of days. But yeah, I really enjoyed the cities, because since Whitewater is such a diverse you know, school, there's some people that aren't from Wisconsin that don't know how to pronounce anything Wisconsin. I think that was my favorite part.
Right.
I'm also really glad that no one mispronounced Bob Euchre.
Yes,
I would have been
the legend.
I would have been very disappointed if they would have got that wrong.
Even, you know, there was a little part of our segment where we, instead of continuing with the names of cities and towns, because we felt like a lot of people were just listening to their friends talk or pronounce it beforehand. So we did a couple names too. You know, Ulysse Chassin, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I don't even know
so
what he's saying, right?
yeah, say that 3 times fast.
No.
So there were a couple that we added in there, and a lot of our interviewees knew that they were either a Brewers player or a Milwaukee Bucks player. So we got some smart people on campus.
I agree.
Well, that is all the time we have for you this week. I know I had a blast filming these segments, as we were just talking about. I hope you all enjoyed watching from home. You can expect a similar episode in a couple of weeks, but with a few more Gutbusters.
So we will see you soon. Tune in to The Real Deal on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 6:30 and 8 to 8:30 on UWW-TV. I'm Colin Dumais.
And I'm Cameron Slate. Keep it real.